Hi, I'm Christy Rost. Do you know that one of Julia Child's favorite dishes to serve guests was a golden brown roasted chicken? It seems like a simple selection, especially for a world-renowned chef. And yet, it's a comforting meal that invites conversation. Welcome to At Home with Christy Rost. So I have a 5 to 6 pound chicken here, and it's all cleaned out, but I always make sure that I get it nice and dry inside to get any of the little juices that are still there. Super. And then I'm going to season the interior of it. So I'll add some salt. And I usually stand it up. A paper towel helps when you do this so it doesn't slide around. So I'll add some salt. And some dried sage. This is going to smell so good about 15 minutes after I start cooking. And then I add some pepper. Stand this baby up here. Let's see if I can get some pepper in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, then I have some fresh sage. I'm going to put that in here. And half of an onion. And some celery. And you want to do this because it really helps to flavor the chicken. And whatever number, and this one's a little tight, so just break it in half if it's too big. And if you are making a gravy or a sauce, then having all of these aromatics in there will really help to flavor the drippings, so you may have a really, really good gravy or sauce. Alrighty. Then I'm going to tie the legs. So I have some string and some scissors. And I tie around the leg, and I'll do a knot so it doesn't come loose. Look at this little, put that in there, and go to the other leg and take this piece and tie just like that until you get it nice and tight. And you can go around one more time. And then I like to tuck the wings under, otherwise when they roast in the oven, they just sort of go like that. You don't want that. It doesn't look nice. Okay. And transfer this to your roasting pan. Well, my one little wing came out. Get in there, wing. There you go. Okay, let's get rid of this. And bring the roasting pan here. This is one of those beautiful Viking culinary roasting pans. I adore it. I love the oval shape too, so pretty. So then I'm going to take just a little bit of olive oil and drizzle it on top. And I mean a teaspoon maybe. You don't want to overdo this. By the way, I've preheated my oven and I have it at 400 degrees. And the reason I have it so high is I want to brown the skin so it's really, really pretty for the first 20 minutes, maybe 25, and uncovered. And then after that, I reduce the temperature to 350 degrees, and I cover the chicken and let it finish roasting. So I've added just a little bit of olive oil to it, okay? And then sprinkle with salt. Pretty. Sprinkle with pepper. And into the oven it goes. So why would you buy one of those pre-roasted chickens when you can do this in a matter of minutes? And boy, is it going to smell great. We'll be right back. I have a potato casserole that's just going to knock your socks off.
It was one of those peak moments in life.
The olive oil and caviar tasting was life-changing.
Our guests can go ashore and immerse themselves in some of these little out-of-the-way places.
Atlas spoiled us.
Yeah, they did.
You are going to love this recipe. This is potato and bacon casserole. So I have 3.5 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes that have been peeled, chopped into about 1/2-inch pieces and cooked. And I always make them in really small pieces just because it cooks faster that way. And then I'm going to melt some butter in here, add some salt and pepper. So I have some salt seasons, Himalayan pink salt. And you want to season them pretty well because potatoes are pretty basic kind of flavor. Then add some pepper. And I'm going to use a hand mixer, and it's going to be a little bit loud, so just watch and enjoy, and I'll talk to you when I finish. If the potatoes seem a little dry, and you can see some of these are flipping out of the bowl, that means that you need to add just a little bit of milk. So go easy, you don't need a lot. But add a little bit of milk, or if you have half and half, you can do that. And here we go. Well, this is an adventure. I've got potatoes going everywhere, but it is actually kind of fun. So, I mean, you need to have a little adventure in your cooking. So let's finish this up. Truth be told, I usually do this in the pot, and that's so that the potatoes don't go everywhere. But if I did that, you wouldn't be able to see today. So we're gonna stick with this. I'm almost done. Whoa, what a mess. I got potatoes everywhere. Wow. I've got potatoes all over the floor. I got potatoes on me, but they're nice and creamy, and that's what counts. So let's add some fresh chives. These are from my garden, and I use a pair of scissors. I find that easiest, and just snip them real small, you know, little 1/2-inch lengths. This adds really nice flavor to the casserole. And it also adds pretty color. Look at that. Let me get this up a little higher. Once you grow a patch of chives, you always have chives. They come back year after year. I find when we come, when we're here in the mountains and it's been snowy and things are just starting to melt, one of the first things popping out are the chives. So we're going to finish this up. I'm going to add just a little more milk, and bear with me while I do this. I'm standing here laughing because I'm remembering why I usually do this in the pot. It's so that it doesn't spatter everywhere like it is today. But I don't know, I think that adds a certain je ne sais quoi to what we're doing here. So I've got my potatoes ready, and I'm now going to spread them in a casserole pan. And this dish has been sprayed with some non-stick spray. So I'm going to add half of the potato mixture into the bottom and reserve half because I'm going to layer this. Ooh, they are nice and creamy. I've made them on certain days where, whatever reason, the potatoes were just extra creamy and I really didn't need to add any milk. Today, not that way at all. They definitely were drier, even though they're Yukon Golds. And so it was imperative to add some milk to get the creaminess I need. Just a little more. I love this spatula. This is one of those from Tavolo. On this side, it matches my outfit. On this side, it says squeeze the day. So I like things that just make me smile in the kitchen. Maybe that's why my husband and I have been married so long. He makes me smile. Alrighty, then, cheese. I have 3 cups of Carr Valley 6-year cheddar cheese. And I'm going to add a nice layer of cheese here. It's all shredded. Yummy, yum. Okay, then bacon. Cooked some bacon till it was real crisp, crumbled it up, and now we put that on top of the cheese. Ooh, I have to save enough for later. Then the rest of the potatoes. So just put dollops of potatoes on like this, like just as if you were, decorating a cake, frosting a cake. Yum. I will tell you that when it comes to family kind of meals or casual gatherings, this casserole is a real hit. And you can make it a couple of hours ahead, and that's always a help. Then, after you get all the potatoes, then spread these. And be gentle so you don't pull up everything from the bottom. And I always turn the dish as I work. Oops. So this is the top layer. Yum, yum, yum. Turn it again so I can get this side. You always work with the dishes. So just turn them rather than repositioning yourself and where it's uncomfortable. Make it as easy in the kitchen as you can so that cooking is always a pleasure. Then more cheese. You know, this would make a super casserole for Thanksgiving. With turkey and dressing or stuffing, however you do yours, and a potato casserole, and of course the green bean casserole, right? Everybody wants that. Okay, so the cheese is in there. Thank you, Carr Valley in Wisconsin. And then the rest of the bacon. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to cover this and bake it for 45 to 50 minutes until it's real hot and kind of bubbly a little bit. It's going to puff up. Take off the cover and let it bake another 5 to 10 minutes. Just brown the cheese ever so slightly. And you have potato and bacon casserole. Yum. When we come back, I have dessert. Ooh la la, it's French apple cake for dessert. So I have a cup of unsalted butter, and it's nice and soft. I'm just whipping that up, and I'm going to add in 1 1/3 cups of granulated sugar. I'll turn the speed down just a little, add the sugar, and you always want to add it gradually. And that allows the butter and the sugar to really get creamed and light. And I usually will do this for about 8 minutes. So while we're letting it cream for a bit, I have some flour, 2 1/4 cups of flour. I'm going to add in a little bit of baking soda, some baking powder, this is a 1/2 teaspoon, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of the pink Himalayan sea salt. Then I add some more sugar here. And stir together these ingredients. And you can use a whisk for this, but I always like a spoon, just a real large spoon. add a little more sugar. And because this is a French apple cake, I have an apple spatula. That's one of those cute Tavola ones. I love this one for fall and anytime I'm using apples. And we're going to, of course, be using Cosmic Crisp apples because they're so sweet and they're crispy and they bake beautifully. So I'm going to scrape this down before I add the last bit of sugar. Kind of gets everything off the bottom and add in the remaining sugar and finish whipping this up. Now normally I would let this beat for about another 5 minutes, but we don't have that kind of time. So let's go ahead and put in some eggs. I have 3 eggs and I add them one at a time. And one more. And the last egg. Then I need to scrape this down again because at this point I have all the egg in the center, all the butter on around the edge. So scrape it again. Get everything in there so it can mix thoroughly. And it should form a fairly thick mixture. There we go. Whip this up and I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'll up the heat now so I can get some air in there. When you add air to your cake batter, and that includes starting out with the butter and sugar mixture, then you're going to get a lighter, airier, higher cake. Now I'm going to add in the flour mixture a little at a time, and I'm going to alternate it with the milk. Here we go. Start off real slow so you don't end up with flour everywhere. And then up the heat, speed just a little bit. And there you go. Now I'm going to start adding in some milk. Always start with the flour mixture, then add your milk. And for your final addition, you'll also use the flour mixture. So it's always start and end with the flour mixture. Okay, that's good. Let's add some more flour. So I love French apple cake anyway, but I don't know, I'm thinking a lot about France these days because of being a celebrity chef on Atlas Ocean Voyages and traveling along the French southern coast and Marseille and Nice and all that. I'm so excited about it. So I'm dreaming of France. And a French apple cake seemed like the perfect dessert for this Sunday dinner. So I'm alternating still the milk and the flour mixture. And this batter is getting very creamy and it's going to get very thick, but still real light. Okay, a little more flour. Then I'll reserve just a bit at the end. I think I could use a luxurious voyage right now on the Mediterranean Sea. I think that would be just the ticket for this time of year. I've seen photos of my stateroom. Talk about ooh la la, so beautiful. And everything is inclusive in the Atlas Ocean Voyages. So if I want a glass of wine, I can have a glass of wine. If I want a glass of champagne, I could have that. If I want a second one, oh yes, please. Now I finish up with the flour. But for me, the most exciting part of the voyage is the Epicurean expeditions. We have market tours in various ports. We have cooking classes, which I am going to be doing. We have Yachtsman's Cook-Off for passengers who want to participate in that and try their culinary prowess and let the other guests judge the final outcome. And I mean, how many fun things are that? I know there is a white night in Ibiza, and that is, we're all supposed to dress in white, and it's a celebration of night and white, and it should be absolutely beautiful. I know there are going to be lots of lights and beautiful music and beautiful food, and it sounds so festive, and I can hardly wait, and I already have my dress picked out. Okay, we're going to take a moment, and I'll transfer this to a clear bowl so you can see as I fold in the apples, and we'll finish up the recipe for the French apple cake. Cosmic Crisp apples are a cross between Enterprise and Honeycrisp varieties, which makes this non-GMO apple extra juicy and beautifully crisp. Sweet and naturally slow to brown, I love them for snacking, baking, cooking, salads, and charcuterie boards. I'm proud to have Cosmic Crisp as a sponsor of At Home with Christy Rost. So I transferred the cake batter to a bowl so you could see what I'm doing, and I have one very large Cosmic Crisp apple, which has been peeled, cored, and chopped into about 1/4-inch pieces, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. You won't want it bigger than that because you need the apple to be able to bake in the oven and become nice and soft and tender. Oh boy, lovely. So you just want to fold the apples in kind of evenly there. Okay, and then I have a 10-inch bundt pan. Look how pretty the design is. It's going to make a beautiful cake. And I use a non-stick spray with flour in it already. And I find this works better than just greasing the pan and then flouring it, because I want to make sure that this comes out. So I always do this in the sink because it's a little bit messy. I put the pan in there and just make sure to spray very, very well to ensure that the cake drops out of the pan when you want it to. So then I find it easiest to use a large spoon. If I use a spatula, it usually makes kind of a mess. So I will fill this pan. The oven is set at 350 degrees, and the cake will bake for about 55 to 60 minutes. Kind of takes a long time, but the results are so worth it. So just fill your pan, bake your cake, and then let me show you what it's going to look like. As we say in France, voila! Look how pretty that is. And the pièce de résistance is a beautiful coating, a dusting of confectioner's sugar. And just make it a little snowy on the cake, and don't forget the interior. There we go. And that is French apple cake. Today we fixed a gorgeous Sunday dinner. Roasted chicken, a bacon and potato casserole, and a French apple cake. And I've chosen a beautiful Pinot Noir to pair with the chicken and potato casserole. This is Misfits and Mavens Pinot Noir, a Michael David winery wine. And I love it. It's a light ruby color. It has notes of strawberry and raspberry with a little bit of cloves and a beautiful vanilla finish. It's going to be a gorgeous pairing with this meal. Thanks for joining me today for Sunday dinner on At Home with Christy Rost, where great food, beautiful wines, and hospitality are a tradition. I'd like to hear from you, so check in with me on my Facebook and Instagram pages. You'll find today's recipes on At Home with Christy Rost. Special thanks to our friends at Melissa's Produce, and I would like to thank our sponsors, Atlas Ocean Voyages, Cosmic Crisp Apples, Michael David Winery, Tavolo, Viking Culinary Cookware, Water and Wines Puzzles, Little Bear Honey, Salt Seasons, and Tip Tech. See you next time. Cheers.